in a marriage, for example, should sex be a duty or should it be something that the two parties involved do only when they want to do it?
Do for pleasure.
Should we do it for pleasure or is it a duty? That is where we are right now. Interestingly, we have a counselor.
Yes, we have a guest joining us this afternoon who's already online.
So we're just going to say hello to him.
Yeah.
Then we'll start the conversation with the ladies. We want to know what you think if you're listening as well. And we'll also get to hear from our counselor.
Our guest. His name is Sunday Anani, otherwise known as Mr. Sunday Anani, right? He is a marriage and relationship counselor, an author, and a chartered accountant. He is a distinguished marriage counselor, author, and relationship coach with a diploma and advanced diploma in marriage counseling from the College of Marital Success. He's authored about 10 books on relationships and marriage, covering critical topics like courtship, knowing who to marry, handling the pressure of being married, and a number of other topics. He's a lead coach at the Premarital Training School with Sunday Anani. It's good to have you. Welcome.
Mr. Nani, good afternoon.
I hope I think you're muted.
Please unmute your mic and speak to us. Good afternoon. Let's hear from you. How are you?
I'm very fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling me in.
You're welcome.
Yes. Welcome to the dish.
Thank you for joining us.
Another interesting fact is a man, as you must have heard.
Right? So we will give a man perspective.
We're going to have a balanced perspective.
Exactly.
But before we hear from him, you know how the dish is. Let us all express our opinions. Ladies, UG.
We're going to start from UG because the way UG is laughing.
UG.
The way she's laughing, UG.
What do you think? Sex in marriage, should it be a duty or something done plainly out of pleasure?
It's not a duty. It's not a role. It's not like, because duty is like something you are paid for.
No. Duty is not.
Duty is like irresponsibility.
Something that you have to do.
It's like
you have to. Yeah, so you have to do it. Like when you have to do your job, you're paid for the job. It's for me. I feel that when two parties are in the mood for it, then have it. But if you are not in the mood, just stay away from it. Go and sleep.
What if you have a case where one party is in the mood, the other party is not in the mood?
Then you guys have to come to a mutual understanding on that. Because
what is mutual
you will be in the mood. It's not all the time. Well, I don't want to.
Why are you putting words in Yuji's mouth?
No, I'm not putting words. Because when you say something like mutual understanding,
Yuji,
it will mean that at some point, somebody will have to do it when they don't want to do it, or somebody will not get it when they want it.
Yeah, you don't have to get what you want all the time.
Is it duty or pleasure?
It's pleasure.
Pleasure. Chizoba.
Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, I mean that's why we have the guests to now, help us.
No, we still need to know what people say.
You see, when I heard it, when I saw this on the page, I started laughing, and that's because there are certain things that you talk about before you get married. One of the things that you check is your sexual compatibility. That's another thing that you check. And by the time you don't have all these conversations, now we're not saying you should test drive before marriage. What we're saying is find out about all these things. Sit down, have conversations around it, talk with a therapist, talk with a counselor before you get married. And so if somebody's libido is high, another person's libido is low, that is when we'll start having all this conversation of is it a duty or is it a pleasure?
But hold on, Chizoba. Even when you have people with the same level of the L, let's put it that way. It's not automatic that every day they will always be on the same page. You get what I'm saying?
So right.
At some point, even if you like to do it like 5 times a week, there are 7 days in it because there's a probability that there will be your 2 days may not be the same day. You get what I'm saying? You may not be on the same.
I mean, there would always be days this one party is in the mood and the other is not. So and that is where it begs the question:
how then should you manage it? Because would you be forced to at some point see it as your responsibility
to the other person,
or you just ask it to be
my
body, my right? If I don't want it, I don't want
Me, I
it.
don't understand.
Everybody.
All this my body, my right. Marriage is
So it's a duty for you.
marriage is for me. Marriage is two people coming together to say we want to stay together, right? Now there are certain things I would not like that he would like. There are certain things he would like I wouldn't like, and that begs for compromise, right? So for me, I don't think sex is something that you can put in a box and say responsibility or whatever. Now it has to do with mutual understanding of who the couple is involved in, because if you start all this duty and responsibility and everything, don't forget that people are in different marital situations and everybody's shoe is different. And so we're not giving people the license. One person will say, start up and say, oh, I heard on the dish that it is not a responsibility, so please leave me. I heard on the dish that it is a duty, and then everybody is quoting ladies of the dish, and then they will now start
Is that what you're scared of?
So you don't want to.
You don't want to be quoted.
You
they
don't,
should
you don't
not
want to.
drag us.
No, you don't want to pick one. Is that
I'm
what you're
not
saying?
picking. I'm not picking. Depends on the individual.
All right,
Yeah.
Oiza.
I think it's pleasure, but for points where one person is in the mood and the other is not, then we can make compromises, right? But I think it's first a pleasure between married couples. I mean, I don't think it's something you should do under compulsion. You know, I think it's pleasure. It's because you both enjoy it. That's why you want to do it together.
Okay, so this is what I think.
Okay.
And before we get to Mr. Nini, this is what I think. Because I've heard couples, describe scenarios where even for a very long time, for as long as like a month, 2 months, or 1 year,
3 years,
or
like
even years, you have
last week
a person, a party in the marriage not being sexually attracted to the partner, or not even being sexually aroused for whatever reason. Sometimes it's for mental reasons, for health reasons, for whatever reasons. They're just not in that place because of what's financial reasons and all. And then they have a partner, and I've even heard a pastor talked about how for like 1 or 2 years, everything, the sexual engagement he had with his wife, he had to do it out of duty because personally he was not just there. But of course he couldn't abandon the woman because of course he doesn't have the option of going to source for it outside. So I feel like, yeah, maybe in the early part of the marriage it's usually pleasurable, but it's a bitter pill that we just will have to swallow. It's also duty. And it's one scary thing about marriage, but it's one of those things. I mean, and eventually the reality is like, if you are not going to be able to, if you always want to do it, it's just when I want it, it's just how I like it. Because it's not even just about the just sex. Sometimes even preferences, how it is to be done. There are instances when there are couples, they don't agree. This woman will be like, no, I cannot do this one. No. And somebody will either have to not have that way of doing it because the partner is not into it, or a partner will have to, okay, let me just, do it because this is how my partner likes to do it. So I feel like, yeah, we don't like to hear it, but it is largely a duty. And I think that if you feel like you will never get to that point where you will see it as a duty,
then you're not ready.
Then you probably should remain single. But then I feel like, yeah, pleasure initially and intermittently at different times, it's going to be it's the two. I think it's the two. But this is the point where we hear from
I didn't shake my head. No,
I
did not shake my head. What I said is literally the same thing she has said. That it can be both, but I think it's first pleasure.
Olaolu outside this studio, she will see the other side of me.
All right. Let us, before we start taking comments and contributions and calls, let's hear from our marriage counselor, Mr. Sunday Anani. Okay, go on, sir. What do you make of it? Do you really owe your partner like sex, or your husband or your wife, or should sex be enthusiastic and
pleasurable
only when they are willing parties?
All right. Okay. Thank you for this very interesting conversation. I think I also heard the social media comment or commentary that you read, somebody made a comment and all of that about how they don't like sex being maybe a duty and all that. I just wanted to, or I just want to first establish that social media is a platform where anybody can sit and say
Anything.
anything. They may be, the person may even be maybe a 20-year-old posting as a 40-year-old. They can be anything behind keyboard. So we can't stop those opinions, but it doesn't also stop us from saying it the way it is, what actually it is. So to answer that question, the way I listen to the ladies in the studio,
Mm.
it comes to me that you enjoy what you are doing. Am I right?
Yes,
I
we
just
Yes.
need
do.
the yeah, good. You enjoy it, and of course, this is your job. A job can also be described as a duty.
Yes.
So because you do this duty, you perform this duty, and when somebody meets you out there and say, "Oh, Deborah, how's your work?" Say, I'm enjoying this job. I'm enjoying this job, and you are performing that job, and that is what is bringing pleasure to you. I use that illustration to explain, to answer the question of whether sex is a duty in marriage or it's just a pleasure or something. The truth is that it is a duty, whether we like it or not. When you get, in fact, most of the things we do in marriage, not just sex, most go and mark it. Most of the things we do in marriage, we do them out of duty. We don't always do things because we are happy or we are ready or we want to just do it. Is it always easy to cook for a woman, for example? Is it always easy for a man to carry his bag and say, I'm going to work 5 a.m. or 5:30 in Lagos, as the case may be? Or even the woman. So I'm driving out, I'm going to Lekki, I'm living in maybe Korodu. It's not always easy. Duties are not ever easy, even though when we get on doing them, we find ourselves enjoying them. So the truth is that when we get married, we are signing up for a job. I do tell people, one of the presenters there, I was always aware of a book I wrote titled My Marriage, My Work. I titled that book My Marriage, My Work because my understanding of marriage is that marriage is like an employment. Both of you
Mm.
saw an employment, both of you saw an opening. You say, oh, this is marriage company. God is the owner of this company. We want to get married to each other. You wrote an application. When you are showing love, you are simply saying, we want to come and work in this marriage company. And what do we do in companies? We work. We get employed, they give us a letter of employment, and then they tell us our JD, job description. It is a duty that we have to perform. So when people sit on this fence of, I don't like it when it looks like a duty, or I just want it when I want to do it when I feel like doing it, you are putting yourself first. And that's one problem we have in marriages.
Hmm.
People putting themselves, above their partner. That's selfishness. It's a duty because it's part of the package. So you can't tell your partner that I don't want sex. But it also does not mean that it is every time that I will perform duties. Of
All
course,
right.
not every time that you come to your work. There are days that you are on leave.
Mm.
So there are times that you may be sick. There are conditions that may warrant you to want to say, I'm not in the mood today and all of that. So what caps everything is understanding. Where
Mm.
there's understanding, both parties can do well together.
So, sir, one of the reasons why I think this particular topic or conversation or post around this get really controversial is that sex is one unique experience that for some people, when you're not doing it, when your body demands it, or when you're in the mood, you feel violated. Some people, and that's why you hear things like marital rape, like
Spousal
or
rape.
spousal rape, or because rape literally is like
A
sex
violation
without
of your
consent, or
of
when you
your
feel like
rights.
you
What's
don't
your
you
right?
do, you don't really want it. So I can imagine that people feel like when your body is not into it, you having to do it, especially when you now think about it long term. Oh, for the rest of my life, like even when I'm not into it, I'm just gonna have to present myself or force my body to be into it. As I want to believe you're married as well. So for married people, I want to say, how do you manage that aspect? For people who do it as a duty, how do you cope?
Okay.
How do you do it without feeling
Violated.
violated?
All right. So to answer you, the truth is that both parties, the reality in marriages is that the two parties are not always going to be on the same frequency. We usually have a case where one party is interested at a particular time and the other party is not. So at that point in time, there is a difference in desire. And what do we do? I'm giving you my practical experience as a married person now. By God's grace, I've been married close to 10 years now.
Okay.
And what we do in such situations, which I believe is what is obtainable in different places. First thing first, I rounded up my first thoughts with the fact that understanding is key here. Where both parties understand each other, there is no reason to force yourself on your partner if they tell you they are not in the mood. However, it is not also their first you don't also stop. We usually don't stop at the first response, at the first call. So when you make a call, for example, say, you show, you don't even have to say, just, so you suggest that you want intimacy, physical intimacy, and your partner, gives you the body language that they are not interested. Usually, married people don't stop at that first no. They keep pushing.
They try
and that
again.
push is not a force. They aren't forcing you. So,
Persuade.
Or at
persuasion?
least it shouldn't be forced, right? Because there are some married people who force, they just see it as their right, and they feel and they get angry.
I will get there. I will get there. So it shouldn't. It's never a force. The reason is this: like I said, understanding is very pivotal here. If you have the understanding that this is my husband, this is my wife, this woman is not running away, this man is not going anywhere. We are here for the next, into the foreseeable future. If you can't give it to me now, then I can have it maybe the next day, right? So that is where self-control also now comes in, and patience. There are times we have to wait. There are times you have direction, it will waste. You won't use it for anything because the person that you want to deal with, your wife, is not interested. There are also times that, of course, I hope you know that it's not only men that are usually more demanding of sex. There are women that, could also be highly demanding, maybe because of their hormone or the state where they are. For example, they could be pregnant. I remember when my wife was pregnant of our first child. Oh my God. I was the one practically saying, oh God, I'm tired. Because there are times that pregnancy can, skyrocket some pregnant women hormone, and they want sex so much. There are sometimes some trimester that they don't even want to even come close to them. You are like a forbidden fruit to them. They don't want to see you. So that is where understanding comes in. Under no circumstance should you push for sex. Your partner says no, and you not pin them down and say it's my right. No, that's no longer sex. That's another thing entirely. So that's why I said understanding is key. You can ask for it, you get a no, and that is where it's also important to also know how to pay back. What we do, or what married people who understand each other do, is when you say no, you are not the person. You are definitely going to be the person to initiate the next drive. It also looks like a duty, but it helps the marriage to stay in place, right? If you say no to somebody, you don't want to wait for them to now come begging again. You want to pay them back and say, well, I'm aware that this person wanted this thing maybe 2 days ago or yesterday. I wasn't in the mood. I wasn't all right. Something.
But that payback, does it have to be when you are in the mood? Or, for example, in a situation where, like, Chizoba mentioned, where the libido is not,
the libido is not low.
It's not complementing. Somebody has it high, somebody have it low. But interestingly, they've gotten married. For whatever reason, they are now married. So if you are now with the person with the low, and your partner with the high initiated and you said no, and you feel like, okay, I should be the one to initiate, should you wait till the next time you are initiated or interested, or should you just initiate? Then if you are going to have to do that, then how do you manage that?
Interesting. I love that question. You know why? The truth is that sex in marriage are divided into two. I call it dutiful and beautiful sex. It is beautiful when both of you are just ready, and we have those cases at times. Maybe 4 out of 10 times in marriage, both of you are just interested. The one person makes a move, the other person is just ready. Maybe not when the first person makes a move. Maybe you are not in the mood, but the fact that the person comes asking, you are nothing is stopping you. You go in all there. That's beautiful. The other side is the dutiful end. Let's be factual with ourselves. Because sex is a need in marriage, there are times when you do them even when you are not interested. It does not mean that you are violated. It does not mean that you are being used. It does not mean that you are more or less a tool. Both of you are husband and wife. You are meant for each other's pleasure. So there are times that we go to work when we don't feel like going to work. Let's be honest with ourselves. There are times like that.
So married people should not, even when they feel that way, they shouldn't see it that way.
Come again?
So is it possible for people to feel like violated when
because they're
they have to do it when they're
doing
not in
it
the mood?
even when they're not.
Well, I think that now depends on how they are being handled, or maybe they are coerced to do it. If you are not coerced to do it, you see it from the point of view of, well, this is a need that has to be met. You know, I don't think violation should come in. Violation should come in when there is a firm no and there is a force coming upon you to get it done by all means. That's when I can say that. That's for me. That's when I can say that there is a violation. I mean, when a person says,
No,
"No, I'm not interested in
you know,
this,"
sir,
and then
I'm not talking about what you can see. I'm looking at it from how you feel. How do you feel when you have to do it out of duty? Do you feel?
well,
Do people
do
feel
you feel?
violated, and they just have to be
Mhm.
like,
I
hey,
feel
it's one
like,
of those
let me
things. Let's
just do
just
it.
do it, or it
Mm.
just feels as normal as the beautiful one you mentioned.
Would have
I mean,
felt.
Yes.
yeah.
So the truth is, it also now depends on individual processing. How do people process what they do to their spouses? First thing first, I think people need to also understand that a spouse, there's a reason a spouse is called a better half. This is like you. This is like you spilled into two. Your better half, a half of you. So if you do something for somebody that you truly love, even though you do not want to do it at that time, I honestly do not feel that you should feel that you are violated. You have met a need. Times may change where you will be the one in this situation for some reasons,
Mm-hmm.
and the other party also may do it for you. So, like I said at the beginning of the roundup of my first talk, it is understanding. How do you understand what you are doing? If you understand it from the wrong perspective, you would think he's just using me, or she's just using me to meet a high
So
libido, or whatever it is.
we can as well
Understanding it.
say that it takes a lot of selflessness, because I'm trying to put myself in a position where I'm doing something I don't want to do. So at that point, it takes a lot of selflessness for me to
Exactly.
do it and understand that whatever I am doing is not for my own satisfaction at that point. It's because of this other person who is, my partner, and my feeling or my desire or however I want it or whatever at that moment does not matter.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I agree with you because, like I know I mentioned the issue of selfishness in that as a big problem in marriage. If you look at it from the past, and then again, step back to understanding, sex is also a service. I hope people know
Mhm.
you are serving your partner. When we say, "Oh, enter marriage, go and serve each other," it's part of it. It's part of what we categorize as service to each other,
Service to
because that is
humanity.
actually what it is. Yeah. So if you are selfless, if you are selfless as it were, as you just mentioned, you will know that you are not. It's not always about you. It's not. See, when we put everything down to how I feel when I want it, when I want to do that, and I'm not saying this because I'm a man. It cuts across both gender. If you sample people's opinion, my people's opinion, it will surprise you that there are women, there are wives with skyrocketing, libido, and maybe their husband may not even be able to say yes to their needs all the time, but the number may not be high. But the truth is that we also have those instances. So the
All
idea
right.
is we need to think of it from a selfless point of view
All right.
All
more
right.
than
Do you still have a
the idea
question?
of
Yeah.
I'm being used.
Yeah,
All right.
Chizoba.
So thank you so much. Like I've been having a lot of thoughts in what you have said. And one of the things that just occurred to me is, especially when you talked about the 6/10 and the 4/10, is that a lot of people enter into marriage for the wrong reasons. They don't have the right orientation before entering into marriage. And from statistics, we've also seen that a lot of women also have high libido, all right, and the men have low libido. So now my question is this: understanding that the woman may have a high libido, the man may be mid or low, or the man may have a high libido, the woman may be mid or low. If people have this understanding, then why do we have a lot of extramarital affairs?
All right. So extramarital affairs. By the way, I made a post on Facebook today. A woman sent me a message, so I posted it without her details, her name. So her husband is getting to talk with somebody, a single lady in the office. So he keeps saying he's just trying to help her do some things, and then gradually now the lady at a point told him, "I love you" on the phone. He couldn't answer. The wife was aware. He's beginning to hide his phone and all of that. People get into extramarital affairs because of one thing, and that is discontentment. People lack contentment. People lack contentment. You see, if people can fix their contentment level, there is no reason why. Because I always tell people, if you look at a woman, for example, or you look at a man, physiologically, there's nothing a man or a woman has that your spouse at home does not have. It might be different in sizes, in color, in shape, in whatever, but it's still the same thing. It will still offer you the same, satisfaction, whatever it is, or whatever exploration you want. But people go into extramarital affairs because they lack contentment, and they also don't enter marriage with the right orientation. People think that when a man sees a woman, oh, figure eight, looking slim, like he thinks in his head, this is the way this woman will be forever. She's fair. Pregnancy can change her in in 2 months. She can become really dark.
Mm-hmm.
Her skin is smooth. Pregnancy can do a lot to her. So when people see some of these bodily changes, especially for men, they begin to now want something else different from what they are seeing now. Forgetting that the woman didn't get there by herself. You contributed to it. And then people lack contentment. When I married my wife, the way she is now was not the way she was back then. But I know that I'm contented with who I have, and I
You, are,
have to stick
you
in
were
it. Besides,
you decided to be contented. Like I think it's a
yes,
I mean,
you
yeah,
have to
because
that's right.
decide that I will be contented in this life.
and there are men who say, oh, men are polygamous in nature. It's a natural thing. It's a biological thing. There are a number of reasons people do.
In fact, people even say things like no one woman can
you
satisfy
can't
a
eat
man,
rice only. You have to
only
eat variety
beans and
all of that.
those
plantain.
those comments are deliberate attempts to twist the conversation. When you want to do something bad, for example, you won't give the actual reason why you want to do the thing that is bad.
Yes.
If a person steals, they will not tell you the reason why they stole is because they have what we call ojukoko, or they lack
Ojukokoro.
contentment. They will tell you it's because I'm hungry. They will know it's a lie. It still does not validate the art of theft. So those reasons, men are polygamous in nature, all of those kind of conversations are just crafted excuses that people give, men give, women as well, women who are also adulterers, they are also not contented because they want something they think their husband does not have.
Mm-hmm.
So the bottom line, everything comes down to the lack of contentment. And many people don't fear God. I hope you know, and I believe you
Yes.
know as well. When people don't fear God, they believe they can do anything goes, then they will always find a reason to explain away why they are doing what they are doing. I'm
All
not
right.
polygamous in nature, for example, and I know that many men out there are not.
Yeah.
So it's just an
I,
excuse.
I personally don't believe that any man is
Polygamous.
polygamous in
Oh,
nature,
please
because
spare me.
when God made man, he made man and woman. He did if he knew that man was going to be polygamous in nature, he should have made like 3 extra or 4 extra.
All right. Let's take some comments now. Hopefully,
Right.
there will be something in this comments for our marriage counselor, Mr. Sunday Anani. But let me start with this. Good afternoon, Marzan says mutual understanding is Oga or Madam saying to their spouse, "Oh boy, go and meet your side."
Wow.
Wow.
Please, so let's be clear. Big some people no get ideas, and that's from an anonymous person.
Interesting.
The person will be
I didn't
anonymous
get
now.
I didn't get the last part of that comment.
I didn't get it, but he said, please, so let's be clear. Make some people no get ideas. But it feels like mutual understanding is Oga or Madam saying to their spouse, "Oh boy, go and meet your side."
So side guy or side chick.
Because we also
Okay,
hear that there are
because I know some
situations where
marriages,
some
yeah.
married people they agree on having like third
Yes.
parties in their marriages
That's
because they
that's
feel like
polyamorous relationship.
Yeah.
Polyamorous relationship.
all right. Moving on.
Okay, so okay, you're still reading, right?
Yes, we still have a number of comments to read.
Yeah. Somebody said,
Okay.
how do you know if your libido is high or low if you won't test? Whether it's duty or pleasure, a lot of married men are being deprived of sex by their partners, especially after birth. And this is Oyin from Finland. You want to respond to that, sir?
Yes.
Go on. please.
So the truth is that some things there's always time for everything, and just like we just talked about in the first instance, where people give different excuses for why they go into many women or many men, as the case may be. This one too, people can give excuse and say, I want to know my libido level now. So I have to test. The truth is, you don't have to test. There are many people that waited; they were never they were virgins until they got married. But what are the things you can do to check your libido level? You can try at least to be self-aware. A lot of people don't know themselves, and yet they want to marry somebody
I'm
and
telling
think that
you.
they will be able to understand that person. You should be self-aware. Ask yourself questions like, how often do I experience sexual thoughts or even
Mm-hmm.
urges? That's really key. If, for example, men do have, single men do, even married men do have what we call morning glory. That's waking up with erection. If you're a man, you don't have that, for example, for days, for weeks, it may be an indication that your libido level is
It's
probably
low.
low, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can also ask yourself, do you feel that do you feel like, can you manage when the urge comes upon you, for example, as a single person? Can you control yourself? Can you manage the thoughts? Can you push the thoughts away? You can also check your energy level, how stable your mood is, and things like that. They can help you to also know whether or not you have a high libido level, or you do not. You really do not have to get
Tests to
involved in
find.
sexual intercourse to be able to. That's not even what it tests. That doesn't confirm high libido level. High libido level is a pre-sex incidence. It's
Yes,
a thing that happens before
the
sex
actual
even
fact.
comes into it at all. So
And
sex doesn't. Okay.
yeah, so I have this thought though, because I feel like
Okay.
even when you know your level when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to libido or whatnot, I kind of feel like from what I've observed, the nature of marriage is such that sometimes things even change.
Mm.
And I feel like it only takes a mindset where you have already agreed that no matter what happens in this marriage, we are going to find a way around it to deal with it within this marriage. Because
Yeah.
even no, okay, so even if you know your level and your level was the same as at when you started the marriage, there's a probability that at some point
Mm-hmm.
the levels will
Mm-hmm.
change.
Sickness can happen.
Pregnancy will
Yeah.
happen, things will happen. Long you don't even know
Mm-hmm.
what your own health will look like in the next 10 years. And so
Exactly.
I feel like it
So
just takes a contented mindset. Like you just know that whatever happens in this marriage, whether I want to test it or you don't even need to test it. I mean, if you want to test it, that's your business. But it takes a mindset of whatever I meet in this marriage, no matter the kind of woman or man I am dealing with, I will rise up to the occasion, or we will rise up to the occasion and find a way
Together.
together to manage it. That's what it takes. Because if not, you can go with high and end up low, and the woman can come in with high and at some point end up low, or they go in with low and they end up high. I mean, these things change, or what do you think?
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I
So
agree with
the
you.
last, let me just mention the last point on knowing libido level. You can go medical by
Yeah.
checking your hormone levels. That can help. So down to the question you just asked, that is what we already established during this conversation, that many people enter marriage with a wrong mindset. And like you just mentioned, whether libido is high or low, this is our solution. That's the honest truth.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm,
have
Yes,
solution.
they
But
all have
unfortunately,
solutions.
because some people enter marriage with the idea that if it doesn't look like what I want, I can bail out. You see
Mm-hmm.
them opening out, jumping out of the moving vehicle, and that vehicle is marriage, just at any point in time that they want. If we enter with the mindset that whatever I need there,
We will
I
work
believe I
it
will be able to
out.
sort it. More often than not, people get to solve them. I'll give you an example. When I got married, we didn't know that we were going to, have to struggle to get a baby. It was never a thing that we thought that, although I had to have this thought, okay, what if? But the idea was, whatever if, we're going to stick in there. And that's what happened. We got married, and first year, second year, we're still nothing. But I had to stick in there. I can't say, oh, she's not taking in. Oh, she's the one having this health issue, and then I'll jump out. Or he's the one having this health issue, then I hope out. No. The question is, when there's a problem, what do we do in workplaces? Committees or teams are formed to find
Mm-hmm.
what? To find solution.
Yeah.
The same way we should do in marriage. If there's a problem, we are pro solution, not pro living, not pro divorce, not
Mm.
pro I want to jump out. Go in there, sit together. This is the issue. What can we do? These are the options. These are the options we can afford. Then everybody, both people go in together, and they strike the iron while it is hot, and they get solutions. But we have cases where people believe, I mean, your problem is not my problem. That's another orientation that people go into marriage with. And so
Mm.
you see them, jumping out when they find out that the other party is having a health issue, or things change. You that you think you have high libido today, something can happen tomorrow that you don't know can affect your libido level.
Mm.
but
Anything can happen.
things as flimsy as job, you change job.
Mm-hmm. And you just
Exactly.
lose your
before you
thirst
know
for
it, you're having to do more, or your patterns change, your sleep patterns
Change.
change, and anything, and it affects how you operate. But let me go
Even
to
even even lifestyle can change everything. Sorry to cut you in. There was a couple there was a young man I counseled. He was a newlywed. He told me he couldn't sustain erection, and I counseled him on all I could tell him. Do you know that he came back to tell me that he later found a solution? I didn't know what the solution was. He was simply dehydrated.
Hmm.
And he said the moment he began to take more water, everything changed. They have a child now.
Mm.
So knowledge also plays a key role here,
Hmm.
in all of this conversation.
All right,
Let's
Sorry
thank
to
get
you.
cut
back
you.
to the comment.
This is Jaja. I don't know why women behave like this. Yes, most women like to say they are not in the mood, but when somebody is not in the mood, that person can be put in the mood if you start to tempt them with it. Why then do women now say go and sleep or don't touch me when the man is trying to put them in the mood by distributing them, or okay, disturbing them for it, as if they too don't enjoy it? I'm just going to
Oh,
rush the questions now because
right.
Mr. Sunday, you can just help us know that in case you want to respond to that. But another
All right.
comment here. Afternoon, ladies. Sex in marriage is duty. Oh. Whether you like it or not, a woman must always rise to the call whenever your husband wants it. Though it is always also for pleasure. You see, men are wired to want to have it all the time. Let men start talking, you will see my point. The way God made us is different. Men always want sex while women are disturbed by a lot of things that will make them say no. In fact, it's a big issue in marriages these days. What led to the phrase we now know as side chicks? Ask lots of older men, they will tell you they are sexually deprived. It's a duty. Oh, is that? Good afternoon, ladies. When talking about matters around marriage, sex, etc., I prefer to always look at it from the perspective of the Bible as a Christian. The Bible already stated that couples should not defraud each other sexually, and that the husband's body belongs to his wife and vice versa. If we are to go by this, it then means that sex becomes a responsibility. However, couples should always put each other into consideration in cases where either of them doesn't feel or seem to feel like it at some point. Not doing it for a few moments won't kill anybody.
Hmm.
And that is from Daniel. Okay. Right. Olaolu, which one be force? That's man an animal. That's rape. Sex is a gift that God gave to married people to enjoy. When you love each other, you will understand yourself. Each union is always different, so both parties compromise. If your partner is feeling,
If your partner's
or if your
feeling,
partner's feeling is very important, but you have to learn how each of you feel and respect the feeling. For example, position and how the partner feels, sex positions and how the partner feels. Sex bonds the relationship in marriage, and self control is important. If you drive a car as fast as the engine is, then you will crash. There are many reasons for adultery in marriage. However, nobody wakes up suddenly and commits adultery, and that is Jay.
okay, we have a message from Ike. He says, "Good afternoon. Lagos talks about this marriage and sex things. Since X started paying influencers for their tweet reach, people have started tweeting just to get engagement, whether good or bad. Sex should be a duty because it's on the basic need of man, on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you are not giving your partner, you're denying them of that basic need, and they will most likely get it from somewhere else. By statistics, sex after money is the second highest cause of divorce. My own take is, as the man, be ready to play with the mind of your woman, because women sexual experience begin with their thoughts, and as the woman, be visual and try your best to look very good for him, and it can improve your partner's libido if lacking." All right, that's from Mike from UK. Mr. Sunday, I would like you to speak to this, because when we talk about it being a duty, you find many people always thinking that it's a duty for the woman, because it's believed that it's something that, is usually only the man that wants it, or that needs it, or that enjoys it,
Or that initiates it.
initiates it. Yeah, I would like for you to speak to that as well.
So the truth is that yeah, it is a duty, quite all right. We've established that, and even from the biblical point of view, The Bible clearly admonishes that the woman has no control over her body, the same way the man does not have control over his body, and that they should not defraud, each other of access to sex and all that. So what I would just advise is that maybe we should look at what people can do, to improve, their sexual relationship. What can you do if you are this person who believes that you don't, if you don't want something, if you don't want it at a point in time, then you do not want it. What can your partner do? People should learn to sit down to talk about their needs. And needs here are not, limited to financial need and all of that. Intimacy need is a very, very major need. As one of the commentators said, is one of the is one of the basic needs of humans. And of course, after clothing, eating, and clothing, food, and shelter, and all that, marriage is a very basic thing. So having this understanding will help. Then also trying to men should also try to understand women. The truth is that men initiate sex more, and women seem to be on the receiving end more because men initiate more. So, what can the men do? We need to understand that as husbands, if you want something at 11, you should have started your job at 7. Don't wait until 10 p.m. before you begin to touch. Don't wait until 10 p.m. before you begin to be nice. Be nice from morning. If you want something in the night, send the text, send some good stuff, be on call, laugh. You can't frown all day long. And then on the night, and then on the bed, you are now bringing your hand to touch a body or rub a body. Then also know, the emotional state of your partner. What is their emotional state? Is something bothering them? Women are very easy to deal with, especially when you understand them. If you understand a woman's need, she will most probably say more yes to you than no's.
Mm.
But of course, some people are not patient. Some men aren't patient. They don't want to ask questions. They just see the woman. The woman is in the room. They can see her. Seeing her body is not enough. Have you connected with her mind? If you have not connected with her mind, it's very difficult for you to connect with her body. I think these are some of the things that husbands really, really need to pay attention to. Just don't go and grab because you can see. Just get her mind in your hand. Wine her heart properly. When you win her heart, it will be easier for you to touch her body. And these are some of the things I believe that husbands should pay attention to. The same way for the wives too. Everybody needs to be nice. If you reject, nobody really likes to be rejected. If you are being sincere with ourselves, so if you say no, you are simply rejecting. So how do you handle that rejection as well? How can you compensate for it? What can you do? Because this is your husband, this is your spouse. You say you love this person. Love is a big deal. Love is a duty. I mean, love that makes somebody to die for another person. It's really beyond just wanting bodily access. So I think this understanding will help people a lot more.
Well, and what he just said just flashed the book of Ephesians that said, husbands, love your wife. So when you love your wife, you want to know everything about her. You want to read her moods. You want to know. You won't love somebody and the woman in the morning wakes up by 4 a.m. to prepare food for the kids. She's the one to bath the kids. She's the
all
one to take
stressed
the
out.
kids to school. Don't forget that she's also going to work, and then she comes back from work, has to take care of the kids, has to
Cook.
serve you also, and then in the night you're bringing your hand. And then you are still there asking her that, hey, in fact, as soon as she's coming back, you're saying, hey, your own share of the responsibility in the house is to pay NEPA bill. Have you sent, the light is blinking, have you transferred the money? And then you still expect her back. So everybody should try to be nice.
So I think that we can categorize this thing into two. We have ideal situation or what should be obtainable rightly, and some situations that are not ideal. In an ideal situation, I mean, a man should not place what you just described is in a situation where things are in a very skewed manner. The home belongs to both parties. Like in my home, there's practically nothing I can do. The only thing I've not learned how to do well is to operate this washing machine here. Very stubborn machine. But every other thing I can do in this house, I can cook, I can anything because I was here before she came. Right. So we need to have this understanding that wives are also beyond just meeting the domestic needs, doing chores. Chores are very tiring. I mean, those times I cook, I know how very tiring they could be. Standing on your foot, even if you sit down, it's still a very engaging thing. So men really need to understand their wives well enough, and then be present in that house, be present in that home. And when I mean presence, it's not your physical presence in front of a laptop. Know what is going on, know where things are, know where to pick things, know where to drop things, know how to do some dishes, know how to cook. It's part of all of it, because if the woman, the problem is that some women are on the bed in the bedroom physically, but their mind is in the kitchen. They are thinking of the dishes that are scattered everywhere. They are thinking of what to cook it the next day. If you do, having that conversation with her alone, say, babe, what do we eat tomorrow morning? Do we have the raw material for it? That alone shows that you are concerned. It can win a woman's heart. And because you have won her heart, it will be easy for her to release her body to you. But when you don't get involved in things around the house, you are just about issuing orders and sharing bills. You're going to have problems. They will deny you money. You have to just be ready for that. Then you're just a person who, who understands that the home is our home. I don't subscribe to the idea that the home belongs to a woman. How? It belongs to both of us.
Thank you, sir.
And you know, for me,
the bills included, the everything in it. I wish my wife is on. I wish you invited my wife on this call. We'll have shared everything. You can't put put the load on the donkey and you see and expect the donkey to run fast. You know how donkeys work. It's Jelenke treatment. They don't run. It's gentle. Why? They call them beast. What they call it? Beast of body or burden of beast. They carry load. When you put a load on a person, you don't expect them to perform well. They will slow down. So, men, if you want that wife of yours to be, readily available, readily, that you have to also be in her life. Those things that are, burdens to her, those things that look like stress to her, you must be a burden there. When they say the woman is a helpmeet, is a helper, not a burden bearer. Don't drop the burden on her and then in the room again, you want to be having different style.
All right.
Sorry. Oh, you can't have it.
As we wrap up the conversation, there's a message. Good afternoon, all. I'd like you to get to speak on situations where sex is weaponized or used as a bargaining chip or a reward or punishment tool, even in marriage. Does it harm the relationship or gives it an incentive to get things done?
Okay. Am I to respond to that?
Yes, very quickly in 2 minutes.
So very quickly, in any marriage where people use anything, it's not only sex. People use money as a weapon.
Even children.
There are marriages where maybe the woman is not working and the man is using money as a weapon. I won't give you this, and he will deny her. So if you use money, if you use sex, if you use access, if you use even food, people use food. People that will lock freezers, anything that you use as a bargaining tool, that marriage is not in an ideal situation. Things can never be right. So it's not proper to use sex to get a need met. It's not proper to use money to get a need met. If you use any of these things to control your partner, it simply means that marriage is beyond your control. You have to go and look for something to control your spouse. In a marriage where things are done, I'm not saying that it will be 100% right, everything will be 100% correct. No, but to a very large extent, nobody should actually have anything that they can use to control their partner just because they want something. If there's anybody listening to this or that will listen to this later, change on it. It doesn't get you the kind of results you need, because using it means you are getting results out of coercion, out of force, and that's what makes people to feel violated.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Anani. Hello, ladies of the dish. It's like paying electricity bills. You don't always feel like doing it, but when you don't, things get dark real quick. So it's pleasure when you are in the mood, but duty when you are not. And that is Gabriel from Ogun State. And Chidi says, I think people should just decide to stick to their spouses no matter what they encounter sexually.
Right.
And I think at some point, Olawale said, ladies, I hope you are jotting points for future sake. The Lord will direct
Olawale,
your
hope
feet.
you are jotting
I need
points.
to say that
Hope
I have
you
been
jotting points.
enjoying a lot of good content from Mr. Sunday. Maybe I've been selfish with that. And I'm glad that he's even here today to share some of these things with us. He's one person that I would recommend if you are listening to this program right now.
Maybe the next time we have him on the show, he'll come with his
He'll
wife.
come with his wife.
Yes, we should have both of them. You
Yeah.
can follow him on Facebook, Sunday Anani on Facebook. You find his content very...
Is he on Instagram?
Yes, I think he is on Instagram. Or I'll let him do that
Yes, sir.
pleasure himself.
Okay, very quickly as we wrap up the conversation, Mr. Sunday Anani, how can we find you online?
I can do what?
Find you
How can we
online.
find you?
Okay, yeah. I'm most active actually on Facebook. Sunday Anani is the name on Facebook. I'm also active on social media to some extent. I post. I'm more of a writer, so Facebook is more disposable for me. But of course, I do videos as well. So you can also follow me on Instagram. That's Sunday underscore Anani underscore. And that's on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok as well. I do videos, educative videos relating to relationship and marriage.
All right.
And for those who are not on social media, you may want to buy any of my 10 books on relationship and marriage. They are available on seller. You can just check them out.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you so much, Mr. Sunday Anani. It is now time for us to pack our bags and leave the studio.
Yes, it is.
And unfortunately, we're getting calls, but it is now time for the Visit Africa show.
Yes, it is.
You have to pack it. Ladies, hope you've jotted something down. UG.
Olawale that is saying we should jot down. Has Olawale